What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 2 of Pardon the Intel, a new Halo web series brought to you by the community and for the community. I'm one of your hosts, Nick NacSquared Schneider, along with my co-host, Brad System Stats Chalassier. And we're joined today by two special guests, Andrew Impulsion Phillips and Taylor BoaterBoy Nightingale. You guys have kind of got an idea of who me and Brad were in the first episode, so we'll jump ahead to Andrew and Taylor. Andrew, if you want to go ahead and start us off and introduce yourself and tell us about your Halo background.
Hey, what's up, guys? As well as myself, BoaterBoy, and Nick here. I'm from Springfield, Missouri. Yeah, I grew up just playing Halo with my brothers. I didn't have internet until Reach, so I didn't really get into competitive until late Reach, and then I started playing online GBs. And then when Halo 4 came out, me and my little brother decided it's time to get our own setups, get off the box TV, and start taking it serious. And I jumped into MLG, went to my first tournament in 2013, just a local 10-team tourney with Taylor here. What we placed, like, horrible. But on from that, just played online tournaments, started making a name for myself. My first major was Iron Gaming Chattanooga 2014. On to H2A, went to UGC St. Louis.
Where you met Nick.
Where I met Nick. That's cool. And actually placed in the free-for-all finals. I got 8th, and so that was pretty cool. And then we started. I stuck with AA in Zersky, and then we went to Atlanta, Iron Gaming's Atlanta, later on in the year, and we started taking off. We got top 16 there, I think, and then when we got back home, we started playing on the online cups, where I think week 4 of HCS season 1, we actually beat Optic to jump into top 8.
That was crazy.
It was pretty wild. And then on the way to Indy, or leading up to Indianapolis, picked up Silence instead of Zersky. So it was me, AA, Kiltastic, and Silence. We had high hopes and expectations for top 12 or higher. Unfortunately, got knocked out in top 16. But your boy Nick was coach. Did all he could.
Best coach NA, dude.
Nick's fault.
Yeah.
He did all he could, but we couldn't pull through, unfortunately. And then that led into Halo 5. I stayed with AA. We found 2 guys, 2 grinders. It didn't work out. Honestly, I didn't care for the format of the first Halo 5 season, like the World Championship. Felt like we got screwed over because we didn't play the GB matches early on to get seeded. So we had to play like EG in round of 64 or something, like first week, and like it was just a catch-up game the whole time.
When EG was on their like number 1 grind.
And then I didn't go to Daytona either, so. And then it was just online stuff, just placing decent, like top 16 stuff, just an amateur.
Legendary bracket a few times.
And then that's when one of the legendary, or the last chance qualifier, I teamed with VTech, Sniping Demon, and Stillmatic, which I loved that team. And like we got 8th in the last chance qualifier, and then we went to G4G, like we were like expected to win that thing. Or we were pretty confident. I'm not gonna say we would have won, but unfortunately everybody knows what happened with that. But from then on, eventually I found another player from Springfield, Savatrocity. Shout out to him. He's an awesome teammate. Like I don't think he's ever complained. He's a good friend, and he's got one of the best shots I've ever seen in the game. So we stuck it out, and in the last online season, we actually ran as the 5th ranked team in amateur bracket pretty much throughout the whole season, and then fell short in the last tournament to make it to we didn't get into the top 2 for the relegation, but it was fun, good times. Now this is pretty much where we lie. We went to Chattanooga, choked.
Story of my life. Taylor, how does your experience stack up with that?
Well, it's down there, but basically,
This is my mentor.
yeah, more or less his agent, I feel like. I started in Reach. I went to MLG Columbus, the Winter Championship 2012, and it was fun. It was just like my first event. Just went with some local kids, and we had no idea what we were doing. Went with no headsets, just like double eliminated, boom, on our way back home. But it was definitely an experience. Learned a lot from it. I actually did a lot better in the FFA seeding than I thought I would. But and then from there, went to the Halo 4 opening MLG tournament. And I guess maybe winter MLG was 2011. Whenever they did the pre-release tournament.
Oh, Halo 4?
Yeah, that was what. Yeah, that was,
wasn't it?
It was 2012. So that would have meant Reach was 2011 because it was like early in 2012 was that Halo 4 tournament.
Right.
And went there, pretty much same team. We did a lot better, and I liked Halo 4 at that time. But it was cool to play in a tournament where nobody knew the game except the people who won the tournament, who had copies of the game. Yeah, but it was definitely fun, and I'm from Texas, so it was cool to get back down into Texas. Yeah, ever since then, it was like after that, Andrew, I posted a video on Prototype's Facebook for a giveaway, and Andrew watched it, and he messaged me on Facebook, and he's like, "Hey, I saw you live in Springfield. I live in Ozark. We should run games sometime." And we were pretty similar as far as skills at that point, so we started running games. And
I still can't believe my mom. I was 16, and my mom let me go to some stranger's house to play Halo. like, and we just moved to the city.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know why she let me, but
anyway, that's where our friendship started. And like, I remember one summer I was working my tail off, and Andrew just kept grinding and grinding and got so much better than I did. And that's like where I kind of fell into like the coach role or agent role, and just help him excel any way I could. So I've been behind him and full support for him ever since. Got him a scuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Now it
took me up.
Now his shot, dude, it's unbelievable.
Setting them up.
Yeah. We're actually all teaming. Me, Nick, and Andrew, and Savatrocity. We're all going to St. Louis. We were thinking about joking around and going on Smurfs. We thought that would have been hilarious.
But then we realized we're randoms anyway. So.
Brad's skipping for a football game, so it's cool.
Yeah, dude, Clemson FSU.
Anyway, so now that you guys kind of have an idea of who we all are, you know who me and Brad are, and now you've met Andrew and Taylor, we'll kind of jump into our topics. If you watch episode 1, you know how this show kind of rolls. So we'll jump right into it with our first topic being the Pro League drama. And I think everyone has kind of heard what happened this past week with the E6 ruling of Stellar and Kratos and the E6 organization getting the 5% hit on any of their winnings this season. Now, that doesn't include, right, like Andrew's alluding to, that doesn't really say much, and it doesn't include any postseason winnings at all. But nonetheless, it is a punishment, and I think it's the first real punishment Halo eSports has seen in the past who knows how many years. Stellar, I believe, does take his fine with him no matter where he goes because of the role he played in it. So, Brad, what do you think about this whole situation?
Stellar shouldn't be fined, first off. It wasn't him that turned on the Xbox, signed him out. He was kind of the victim in this scenario, so I don't think he should be fined along with the rest of E6. I mean, I can kind of understand where ESL is coming from, where it's like kind of the unprofessionalism of the team, and so they're choosing to punish the team. But then again, they went and gave Kratos an extra 5% on top of that, so I don't think Stellar should have been fined.
Right. What do you guys think, Taylor and Andrew?
I don't know. Like, I'd say, I don't know exactly. I don't think Stellar should have been fined, really, but I mean, it is what it is at this point. Like, it's a lesson learned. Like, just all the drama that went down, it's done. But
Yeah, I think it's more of a organization deal, kind of like it's like a Law and Order deal. Like, they're more or less just kind of scaring everybody to like, hey, let's play fair, let's play by the rules. If not, this is what can happen.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely seemed like a little bit of a scare tactic, which I don't know that it worked because I'm not sure anyone necessarily thinks that punishment was anywhere near excessive, but
yeah,
it's more of a burden on anything.
Right. It's a punishment. I think it's something that they realized they needed to do something, and so they did something, and that's kind of all it really represents. So going into the matchup, they played against EG, and EG was up 2-0, I believe. And then E6 came up with a reverse sweep. Brad, you said you saw a tweet on the stream.
Yeah. Plaza Strongholds, Game 3. It was still a game, like, it seemed like E6 or EG had the game in the bag yet. But, tweets come up on, like, the bottom of your screen that the T2 and Elamite, or whoever's casting at the time, read out. And it said to please interview Kratos. This series is in the bag. As soon as I saw that, I knew they weren't going to win.
Right. So they
that was a crazy series.
Played pretty well, despite all of the drama going on, but they seem to make it through. So with that going on, there's also been in the AM side, there's been the PGL issues. So PGL is the Pro Gaming League, and they basically have been running this season at least the legendary bracket and the open bracket and the seeding and all that. And there's been a lot of problems recently with teams that have qualified as a certain seed, and then when they get placed into the legendary bracket, they're not that respective seed for whatever reason. Or in some instances, which is unbelievable, some teams not being in the bracket at all. This is something that obviously everyone gets a little up in arms about. But I would say I think PGL is trying to do their best. What do you guys, Andrew and Taylor, what do you think about this whole situation with PGL trying to run this?
I honestly didn't dig into the details of what happened with the brackets, but I did see the madness that went on with it, all the outrage. I don't know, it's kind of because usually PGL is pretty on their stuff, but I don't know what happened.
You think that this whole bracket, AM legendary stuff, do you think this is too much for PGL to handle? Maybe they don't have enough people working on this particular area, or because it seems to me like even though these problems are happening, I think the biggest problem isn't what is happening, but the fact that people can't get responses from PGL. Seems to be no customer service in that area. I mean, usually PGL had a decent reputation at that, but any idea?
Well, that's what I feel like is there's just too much going on. And instead of taking, the small steps before they run, there's just too much going on the players' end and on the staff end. And I just feel like there's a lot of miscommunication because of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you touched on miscommunication, and one of the biggest things is that it doesn't say anywhere on the rules that the rosters are locked an hour beforehand. So a team has to be signed up and have their set roster an hour beforehand, but that's not on ESL. If you tried to sign up with your team an hour beforehand or after that hour had passed, they wouldn't let your team go in. But on PGL, it still lets your team go through as if you still had signed up for the tournament. But when you try to get placed in the bracket, your team won't be there.
Right.
So that's kind of where a lot of the outrage is coming from, because there's just like you were saying, miscommunication.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it seems like a little bit of a technical issue and a communications issue. They need to at least let people know. And it sounded like this weekend went a little bit better from what I've gathered. It seemed to go mostly smooth. Most people were seated correctly.
Yeah, except for the legendary bracket. A lot of people were really confused about that one.
Yeah.
I just feel like seating hasn't been all that great for a couple of years now.
Well, I don't know if I mentioned this. I'm not competing in the Open League this season, but like Taylor was saying, for the past 2 years, it's kind of been a little iffy. In H2A, honestly, I loved when they first started the I forgot what they called it at the time. I think it was still legendary. It was open bracket, and then top 8 from open makes it legendary to play the. That's when I think they started that. If if I'm correct here. But I remember like that format. I loved it at the time, and then Halo 5 rolled around. They went to like MLG game battles. I wasn't a fan, and then they brought it back to ESL. Now they're on PGL. Like I don't really know why they switched mediums or whatever. But
well, and like just your instance, for example, when you were playing for the World Championship, it was literally just a grind fest. So I mean, because you didn't play as many GB like customs, you got penalized in the long run.
Right.
Even though you had probably a better team than what you placed.
Yeah, I agree. And I find it kind of weird that ESL is dumping off these requirements and stuff to PGL, where it seems like they should maybe be handling all of the rules and regulations, but letting people use PGL's platform. But it seems like they're just handing it all off to PGL, and PGL really doesn't know what to do with themselves.
It was like 343 when they got Halo. They were like, ah!
Right.
I see. I don't know. I guess I haven't been following too close the past few weeks even, but like with the PGL Open bracket, like is it still single for like the Saturday? Oh man, that's what I've always hated. It's like
yeah, I think that's the con
tournament. Threes Up, who just won this past Sunday, they didn't even make it into legendary bracket the first time around because it was single elimination, the first tournament.
Because they probably messed up the seeds. They had to play probably some
because the very first actual seeding tournament, they had to play 3 good teams in a row, and they ended up losing to one of them. I can't remember which.
I know it's always the thing. It's like, well, you should be able to beat everybody, but I mean that's why there's a season. That's why there's points.
Yeah, and exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot of dedication for the players. I mean, to span everything out over a full season. I mean, it's tough.
It's literally what is it? How many weeks? But every Saturday and Sunday, and if you get screwed one week, it's over. You're playing. I mean, you're playing catch up, but.
Yeah, I think they really do need to take a step back and look at this whole system, because as much as we do need to pay attention to the top 8, the pro league, it's the amateur league that really builds the foundation for competitive Halo. If there is no amateur league, one at that, there really is no following of pro Halo. So I think they might need to step back and take a look at this, and I would be willing to bet that they are doing that. So hopefully, it seems like there's been improvement. Hopefully, as the season go on, PGL irons out the issues and we get things going smoothly.
The whole focus on the pro league. I was talking to Jeremy Savatrocity a couple weeks ago, and we were saying it's crazy to think how good these top AM teams would be if they had the chance to play these pro teams.
For sure.
If they opened up the pro league. I know it's off topic a little bit, but
no, I totally understand. I agree.
Well, the focus is just all in pro league because we're finally starting to see some money in the organizations, and you have your top 8 and your top 10, and then nobody looks past that.
Right.
Yep.
So
people need to get an opportunity. That's for sure. I mean, that's the combines were one of the best parts about the Halo 3 and Reach days, and I think you get people like Lethal and these incredible players out of that stuff. So.
Right, noob.
Yeah, exactly. Because they just got the chance, and that's all it took. So we'll kind of move on past the PGL stuff, and we'll talk about the new roster transfers going on. With the roster lock supposedly being lifted, the LOL team started running with a amateur player, Renegade JW. He played in his first pro league matchup this weekend. How'd you guys feel that he fared in the pro league? All right, so moving on from the PGL issues, we'll now talk about the supposed roster transfer that was supposed to take place this week. We have LOL running with an amateur player this weekend, Renegade JW. This was his first weekend in the pro league. And Brad, how do you feel that he fared this week?
I mean, the whole team didn't fare too well, so it's hard to really see how he played individually, but when he's on stream, he didn't seem like he was choking by any means, so I think it was a good experience for him.
Yeah, I agree. Andrew and Taylor, what do you guys think?
I didn't keep as close eye on him as I should have, but if I do recall, I feel like he was keeping pulling his weight, so.
Yeah, I think, like Brad said, it's good experience for him, and it'll only get him started, just like Stellar and a lot of the newer guys. So apparently, Brad, you brought up before the show started how this roster lock didn't actually happen like people thought it would. So do you want to explain that to the viewers what's going on?
All right, so after week 2, the rosters opened up for any sort of change within the team, only one player, until October 23rd. But the thing is, before each week, you have to have your rosters locked on Monday. So even if you do make a team change, you still have to lock in your roster for the week. None of the teams did that, apparently. This is all just a rumor at this point because we don't know the exact rosters, I don't think, yet. But as of now, none of the teams are running with new players.
That's interesting. It's kind of unfortunate, the lack of communication, but I would think that ESL would kind of take God rights over this and just say, okay, we know what the rules were, but we're going to have to let these teams figure out who their one change is.
Yeah, obviously it's on their end of it,
Right. And you have a situation like Stellar and E6, and apparently they've been scrimming together because of this. They think they have to stick together, but I'm pretty sure ESL is going to keep that situation apart if they can.
Yeah. I mean, they've played pretty well together, despite all the out-of-game issues they've had. So, I mean, if they can patch those up, they could be a pretty solid team.
Yeah, I agree. They have the skill. There's no doubt there. But whether or not they can get past the outside game issues is the question. So Elevate also had an issue. Randa's team, Brad, you saw on Twitter. If you want to explain the scoop on that too.
So Randa tweeted saying, just found out 12 days before Orange County that we don't have any funding. And then he tweets again, explaining further that apparently Elevate is looking into picking up the LOL squad and leaving them for the dust.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. So they're apparently searching for an org. I don't know if they found one or what the exact deal is now, but hopefully they find something. That'd be a shame if they couldn't make it to Orange County.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that really is. Well, I guess we'll see, and Rando and them will probably figure it out, but for them to just pick up the LOL team out of nowhere, once again, another situation where an E organization's just a little sketchy and shady, but that seems to be happening left and right recently. So with that, we asked an open-ended question of where does Stellar end up if the rosters, if ESL does come in with the God rights and say, all right, we know this was messed up, we lacked communication, you have till the end of the week to make your one change. Andrew and Taylor, where do you see Stellar possibly ending up as a fourth?
Honestly, I could see. I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard somebody was running with Luminosity instead of L-Town.
Yeah, I heard
was that Stellar? Or?
Yeah, that was Stellar.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I could see that being. I think it's a better pickup than L-Town, for sure. But
Agreed.
But I don't know. Maybe somebody's looking at Stellar, maybe a better team. So I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I don't really know. Luminosity, I think it'd be a good fit, but I guess we'll see.
Brad, what do you think?
I want them to stay with E6. I want them to be able to patch that up because I think they can be really solid, but I'm going to go with what the guys on the other side were saying. I think he'll end up on Luminosity.
Yeah, I probably agree. There's really no other team. I don't see him going in any of the top four, Optic, Envy, EG, or Liquid. I don't see him going anywhere there. They don't need to make changes. Allegiant, I don't see that happening, and I don't think he would want to go to LOL.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
LOL is just that gateway, like where the AMs break through to Pro League.
Right.
They're the gatekeepers.
I want to see that change. I want to see LOL step it up, man.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely some veteran pros that people love.
The whole thing with Stellar, if he does end up leaving, that opens another question: who's joining E6? Like, I'm looking. Like, I don't know really what pros would be available. But I don't know. I think it'd be cool to see Nemesis join E6. step up because he's been playing lights out lately.
Yeah,
He's
dude.
really good.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, your first choice, you would obviously L-Town would then be a free agent, but I don't see really L-Town and fitting with E6. He doesn't really.
Well, he did. Yeah, he did play with Kratos in Worlds, but
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
but,
that's a good point.
I also don't know. Like, we don't quite know the story behind how the team was. I did hear Kratos talk on a stream. Like, he loved that team, but like, they weren't his best friends. So
Right.
Mm.
It was more of a business, and it seems to be happening more and more. So there's not much of a mix-up besides that. The top 4 teams seem to be staying in their spots, and maybe a little bit mix-up with L-Town and Stellar, but other than that, I really don't see much changing. So we'll jump into now our power rankings, and I've pulled up Team Beyond's power rankings. They have 4 different casters who submit their rankings, and based on a point system, they come up with an aggregate score. We have Infinity, Clicked, Frosty, and Sims, as you see on your screen, with their aggregate scores coming up with the following. They have Optic Gaming first, followed by Envy, Evil Geniuses, Liquid Gaming, Luminosity Gaming, E6, Allegiance, and finishing off with LOL. Everyone had LOL at the bottom of their list. 3 out of 5 had Optic Gaming at the top, with Frosty actually putting EG at the top of Optic Gaming. So I kind of wanted to get your guys' inputs on this and what your power rankings would be and what you feel about Team Beyond's power rankings. Brad, if you want to start us off.
I guess I understand where he's coming from with putting EG on top, but I don't think I agree with it. Like, sure, they beat Optic, but like we saw Lethal 2 after, they hadn't been scrimming for weeks. You can't take weeks off like that if you're a pro team and expect to do well. So I'd say I definitely have my top 4 as Optic 1, NV 2. I think Liquid's better than EG, so I have Liquid as my 3 and then EG as my 4.
Yeah, I hear you. Andrew and Taylor, what do you guys think?
I agree with Brad. Even though EG did pull off the week 1 win over Optic, I don't see. I see Optic I think they're gonna finish out strong. They're better on LAN. Like, I just don't see anybody being better than them right now. But my number 2 team, I think it's gonna be EG right now, and then probably Envy, and then Liquid.
Yeah, I agree. Optic is number 1, and probably Liquid is 4, and then probably Envy and Evil Geniuses in the middle there. But one thing I'm liking a lot about this season is it's not so set like it was last season. We're seeing some upsets and stuff like that. It makes it a lot more entertaining to watch.
Definitely.
I agree. And the one team that seems to be bouncing around a lot in these power rankings by the individuals is Team Envious. Infinity has them at 2nd, Clicked has them at 1st, while Frosty has them at 5th, and Sims has them at 3rd. What do you guys think about Envious bouncing around in these power rankings? Is this a sign of their inconsistency, or people just not really sure what their ceiling and floor are?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it with the ceiling and floor comment. They're a team with a very high ceiling. I mean, you could see that on paper, but
Right.
you can also see when they play that if they do tilt, if they don't, hit their shots, if they're not on fire, they could definitely hit that lower end. But I don't see them going as far as 5th place. I think the furthest down I could see them was like 4, but I could see them in 3rd.
And I could see them, honestly, I could see them being like inconsistent, kind of wishy-washy online. But when it comes to LAN,
They got
like
the experience.
I think they're just a step ahead of Liquid for sure. And then with EG, I mean, I feel like they're going to be neck and neck. Like,
Yeah. I hear you. Do you guys see, we have Allegiance and E6 are pretty much, as a community, have voted as bottom 2 of 3. Do you see Allegiance, E6, or LOL making any drastic improvements in the upcoming weeks to jump ahead into the top 4, or do they end up in the bottom for the most of the league?
If an Allegiance can win a game 5, they could they could probably get somewhere.
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I'd like to see E6 doing a little better. I feel like they'll put their team together like more towards the end of the season, but it might be too late. But for LANs, I still think those top 4 are still going to be right there.
Yeah, I hear you.
I do think E6 is going to step up, to be honest. Like once they get out of this drama period, I know
they can focus.
I'm a fan of Kratos and Suspector. Like when they get down to it, like they go in. So
yeah, they definitely have some talent on their team, and same with Allegiance. Those are both stacked teams with unbelievable amounts of talent that it seems like they're right on the edge. And I think, like you guys are saying, this season is extremely competitive. Any one of these teams can come out a weekend and just absolutely dominate.
Yeah. I'm loving like some of these top players like Contra from Allegiance, just like week after week he's doing his thing. Like he's just fighting for everything.
Yep. So
it makes me really happy that we're having open events because we got to see them all online a lot sooner than we would have.
Yeah.
I agree. So we kind of talked about our power rankings, where we think everything is, and we talked about that based on the last week's matchups. So I'll kind of pull those up so the viewers can see. And the actual standings, not the power rankings, but the standings now go as the following. Team Envious is actually in first at 3-1, but with a map percentage of 69%, followed by Optic Gaming, Evil Geniuses, and Team Liquid to round up the top 4. I would say everyone this past weekend kind of went as planned for most teams, besides the Game 5. The 2 reverse sweeps were a little crazy. But you see kind of the leaderboards, or standings I should say, kind of panning out to be exactly what we're expecting so far. I don't see anything really crazy as of now, but I think something that's really big, these middle 3 teams, we have Team Liquid, Enigma, and Luminosity all at 2-2. This next week, starting tomorrow and Thursday, are huge.
I can't remember who they all are going to be matching up against, but I do think E6 is. I think they're going to eventually top Liquid in the season. Even though like Penguin and Spartan, those guys have been playing really well too, but
well, I feel like we don't see the consistency out of Liquid. E6, I think they're just kind of right there every time they play. They're just consistent. Right. I think Liquid just had a hell of a week last week.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And actually, we have a video of the Ninja snipe here of Game 5. Oh my God, Slayer, that I'm going to play real quick for the viewers if you happen to miss it. So I'll run that real quick now.
Oh my God, why is he shooting that guy? He's gonna shoot him anyway. Kratos gets killed by, and then Suspector gets the kill on Roy. It's tied up, it's 44-44.
Oh, he hits it!
Scope. He hits it, where's the last kill?
1 second,
It was a pretty clutch moment.
Yeah, so as you saw with the score and the time, he no-scopes the 45th kill with just under 7 seconds remaining. He absolutely went nuts in that game, and I believe either game 2 or 3 of that series, he went like negative, I want to say double digits or something.
Oh my God, I can't remember exactly. What was it? What map was it? Plaza or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it might have been Plaza, but he definitely had a really, really rough game. The commentators were talking about it, and they were going to talk about whether or not Ninja was going to respond or get down on himself, and clearly, I think he single-handedly almost won. I want to say game 4 and 5. I'm pretty sure he went over game 4.
In the post-series interview, I was listening to it, and he was like, "I played absolutely horrible the first 2 games," and then he's like, "Shit, I got to do something." And so, in games 3, 4, and 5, he said he just stepped up. Like the communication was there, awareness. They were just playing lights out from there.
So everybody on the same page.
Yeah, they definitely look like a whole new team, and it's pretty impressive that they can turn it around like that. I gotta say, I'm honestly surprised with EG's chemistry being half their team starting new with Victory and Ninja, and I know they all have some prior chemistry, but being in a game like Halo 5, I really didn't see this roster being a team to compete in the top 4, to be honest.
I always believed in it. They weren't doing well in scrims, but like those are 4 veterans that have always been like pretty solid on their game. So I had faith that they were gonna do something. I knew they were gonna be bottom of the barrel. That's for sure.
Right. So Liquid reverse sweeped Allegiance in a game 5. I want to say it was a 50-49 Slayer. So that was an absolutely crazy matchup. Like Brad said earlier, if Allegiance can win a game 5, they could be right over the hump and they could be in the top 4.
That's what's nuts
They've
about
lost 3 game 5s.
That's
Really?
unfortunate.
Yes.
So
Every series they lost was a game 5.
That's what I was saying. If they just keep doing what they're doing, just learn how to finish series out, close games.
They're right
out.
on the cusp of being very good.
Yep.
And that's cool to think about because like all these, I mean, kind of besides LOL, I mean, they're all kind of right there.
Despite their record, I mean, it's really a matter of how close these games are.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Optic 3-0 on their matchup, so they definitely hopped back into their rhythm. So we'll look ahead to next week's matchups and kind of see what we're looking at coming up tomorrow. So tomorrow, starting at 4:30 Pacific time, match 1, we have Enigma 6 versus Team Allegiance. Who do you guys got in this?
Oh man, what do we know? We don't know game types yet, do we?
No.
I'm gonna go with E6.
3-2.
Reverse sweep.
Reverse sweep.
But,
I think Allegiance is going to win a game 5 and turn their season around.
Okay. So we got a few votes for Team Allegiance.
I think E6 will take it.
Okay.
3-2.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough matchup. I think it's going to be a really entertaining matchup. I agree with Brad. I think Team Allegiance is coming out firing. They know. I think they know how Enigma 6 plays, and I think they're going to be extremely aggressive.
I was just about to say, I think both teams are coming for blood, though.
Yeah.
With Shooter being former teammate with Kratos, and
it's kind of make or break.
There were some rumors that Shooter was going to go to E6 when Stella left too.
Yep.
that'd be interesting. That'd be neat.
Yeah.
So after that, we have Optic Gaming versus Team Envious, and this is the match of the week, which is a no-brainer.
El Clasico.
Sure. Yeah, this is going to be a powerhouse matchup, and I have to pick Optic Gaming. What do you guys think?
I think Optic Gaming 3-1.
3-1.
Consensus,
I'd like
Brad?
to see. I want Optic to win. I think because I don't think Envy's the team to pull ahead right now. But I mean, it'd be cool to see a game 5.
Right. It would.
I don't know. I'm an Envy fan, but yeah, let's go Envy in a game 5
Ooh, okay.
on Eden Slayer.
Going across. Gotcha. Yeah, I think
Because I remember last season, they like barely lost like 48-46 or something on Eden Slayer, and they had like complete control of the game, and then it goes to overtime, and I think all the players were like, "Wait, the fuck? Why is there overtime?"
Yeah.
Right. That is crazy. Yeah, I think the only thing with me on this matchup is Optic knows how to prepare for a powerhouse matchup like this, and they know not to take Team Envious lightly, and they know Team Envious is coming for that crown. So this would definitely be huge. I think it would be cool for the scene if Team Envious does upset, well, quote unquote, upset Optic Gaming, even though they're both powerhouses, because I think we could kind of see a change of tide. But we'll see. And
I agree. I think that would be cool. I don't think it'll happen.
yeah, I hear you. Match 3, we have Team LOL versus Team Liquid. What do you guys got?
Liquid
3-1.
I've got LOL on the reverse sweep.
Really?
That's an LOL right there.
That's an L.
Just trolling.
Oh my god, dude.
LOL, guys.
Yeah, I have to go with Liquid.
No, but let's see. I want to see LOL put a game on them.
I do too. I think they will.
3-1.
Yeah, I think they can.
It's gonna be easy if Ninja goes as negative as he did in 1 and 2.
You mean Ninja's on EG?
Oh shit! I'm looking ahead. My bad.
You're good. Yeah, I think I don't know. The only way I see LOL taking a game or 2, honestly, is if Team Liquid takes them lightly, which I could definitely see. But even if they say LOL wins 1 match, Team Liquid wins the rest, they go, okay, we got to actually play, and they finish off the series. Liquid's too good, and LOL is too scrambled right now. I just don't really see an upset happening there.
Liquid just has way more firepower, I think.
Yeah, you don't want Liquid to catch fire. Like, they're young and they go to town.
I agree. So match 4 for tomorrow is Evo Geniuses versus Luminosity, and I actually really like this matchup. So Brad, what do you think? Who's got this one?
I think Luminosity is actually going to beat them.
Okay.
UG's been, they've been winning, but they haven't been winning too cleanly. I think Luminosity hasn't been living up to the hype or the I don't know, the standard that we thought we were going to see from them. So I think we can maybe see L-Town go off because he knows his spot is on the line.
Yeah, he's riding. He's about to be riding the pine if he doesn't step up.
I think it'll be a close. I think it'll be a close series. I don't think we're seeing the consistency we'd like to out of EG. So,
see, I think I'm gonna disagree with you guys. I think it's gonna be a pretty convincing 3-0 from EG.
Okay, gotcha. Coming out strong with that 3-0. So that'll be Wednesday's matchups, and we'll jump over to Thursday's matchups real quick. So match 1, we then have Team Liquid versus Luminosity. Personally, I don't see Luminosity coming out strong. I actually have them at the bottom of my power rankings after this weekend. I think they have 2 really tough matchups this week. I've got Team Liquid beating them in the first match. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I think after their hot win against DG, they're going to get complacent and then suck against Liquid.
Right?
That would be,
So I think
I'm with you. I'm with
That'd be
you.
wild. I think Liquid. I think Liquid's gonna take it. I don't know what the series is gonna be though.
Yeah. It's definitely a little bit of a toss-up. I mean, Luminosity is a question mark. We don't know what they can do. We really haven't seen it, but we all know that they are talented players.
Yeah, they're kind of in the like. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and like receiving information, but like they're kind of like a shadow team to me right now. Like they grind when nobody's watching. I don't know. Maybe I just don't follow scrims enough, but.
Yeah, I hear you. So match 2, we have Team Allegiance versus Optic Gaming. I think we all know what we're going to say on this, but Brad, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go Optic 3-1. I think Allegiance will give them a fight on one of the games, but Optic's definitely going to win. Yeah, probably Slayer.
Yeah. Optic 3-1. That's a good call.
Probably 3-1, 3-0.
Yep.
Most likely.
But
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. The only thing I can see is, I want to say it was last season, the same roster of Team Allegiance, the Contra and Devin, they actually put up a pretty good fight against CLG. Was that in Worlds, I believe, that I want to say they beat them or took a few games from them. I could be wrong on this, but they seem to play really well. I could see them, Team
Like
Allegiance,
when the pressure's there.
right. Team Allegiance, they have that kind of roster that they're not afraid of anything. So, like, they're not afraid to lose, so they're going to come swinging no matter what.
They're gonna get reverse swept.
That would be nuts. But,
I wanted to say that, but I don't know, I just did.
so I think we're all going to go with Optic Gaming on that one. So match 3, we have Enigma 6 versus Team Envious. Drew, what do you think about this matchup?
I'm gonna. It's gonna be crazy. I think. I want to say Envy 3-2. I don't know.
It's definitely close.
I don't know, because all these teams are like, because E6 being 2-0 up on EG. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I feel like EG's playing better than Envy, but I don't know how they're gonna play. Like Wednesday is gonna be determine a lot, I think.
Right. No, I agree. It's definitely
everybody's attitudes going into Thursday.
Right. Affected by Wednesday. Brad, what do you think about this?
I think it's a good point. I think if Envy loses to Optic, like they might be kind of down, like thinking like, oh shit, guys, we're not the best team. I thought we were going to be the best. So I think that kind of mentality could get them down. But at the same time, I think there's some veterans on this squad. You got Snipe Down, Pistola. I think they can have the mental fortitude to know that the season isn't over yet and that they need to keep playing well if they want to become that best team. And I think they'll beat E6 3-1.
I agree, and I think as weird as this sounds, is kind of like a social aspect of it, but the roster of Team Envious is, like you said, a group of veterans, and I think they kind of look at this E6 and the whole situation with the drama, and they kind of look at them look at them as like
As a joke.
as childish, yeah, and so they really don't want to lose to them. I see that
Yeah, I can
actually
see that.
factoring into it because I know although Snipe Down doesn't really talk much about it, or Micklin, but they don't want to lose to these things that they are looking down upon in this league. So
Yeah.
I really actually could see that getting a little intense. So I would personally take Team Envious just because of that, but Enigma 6 could come out swinging, like we keep saying. They've got the talent to do it. So
I feel like E6 is that one team that just always has their eyes on the prize and and isn't looking around, and seeing what's going on. They have their eyes on the prize, and I think for that reason they're going to go far in the season.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
So in match 4 we have LOL versus Evil Geniuses. I think this is pretty easy again. Unfortunately, LOL is just not doing great yet this season, so I've got EG 3-0.
Yeah.
EG 3-0.
Agreed. I'd really like to see somebody just fill in that LOL and just make that team work. Because I feel like that's what it is. It's just like one replacement might just turn that whole team around. And they've been grinding. Like they're all streaming. I mean.
Yeah. I want to see somebody on LOL tilt the living hell out of Ninja and see if they can make it a series.
Until he no-scopes someone in Game 5. And
Who would be the one to do it?
I'd say APG.
APG.
I feel like he could get into his head.
I agree.
Ninja almost hit that no-scope of the guy flying off high cat, too, like as the buzzer beater, too. I thought he was going to tag that and get cleaned up.
I remember that.
Got the talent. So we've looked ahead to this week's matchups. They start tomorrow and Thursday. We've got some upcoming Halo events, open events in Orange County, St. Louis, and Vegas. As Taylor and Andrew mentioned, we're actually attending the St. Louis event. So if you do see us there, come say hi. We're going to be hanging out, having a good time, not taking it too seriously.
Not watching football.
That's what you guys think.
Not watching
Yeah,
football
for
like
real.
Brad. Yeah, we're actually going to come out and win that tournament.
Wait till you guys see our jerseys. I ordered some jerseys, and
No way.
on the back it's like, just a few local kids here to upset a few teams is our slogan on the back.
Yeah, just for anybody going to St. Louis, we're not honestly going to practice that much, so don't lose to us.
The pressure's on now. All right, so now that
Top
we've kind of
ants.
talked about the pro league and what we think about that, we'll now jump into like the top amateurs and their teams and what they're doing. There's a lot of up and coming teams that we think could honestly break into the pro league. So you guys want to kick it off, Drew? What do you think about some of these teams and who you got your eye on?
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed with some new faces coming in and stepping up. I don't know. You guys have probably heard by now the team that's been impressing me is the Chat Shade Squad. I know they picked up Nemesis, but for at actually Chattanooga, it was Team Infamous at the time. It was Use, Bohm, Sneaky Brand, and Dalai Lama, those guys. And my team that formed just right under 2 weeks before Chat, me, Savatrocity, Willis Sick, and Paranoia, we would scrim. That was the team we scrimmed the most, and like we would trade series and play good games against them. But when it came down to it, we had to play them in winners, like round 3, I think. And they gave us a pretty hot 2-0, and we were pretty down about it. But like, it was cool to see them step up on LAN. And but we actually fought back through losers, played some decent teams, and then we actually got them in pool play again. So we're like, heck yeah, dude, time to get some revenge. They actually were up. It was pretty discouraging. They were up 2-0 on us after they kind of made a comeback in game 2, Slayer Coliseum. But they were up 2-0 in a best of 5. And then we were like, all right, something's got to change. What are we doing here? And we brought the next 2 games back. Took it to a game 5, and they played very much more composed than we did.
Yeah,
And they took off. But props to them guys for sure. They're definitely impressing people. I know Sneaky Brand and Dally, they're on different teams. I'm not sure where Brand is now, but Dally is on Team Solstice, who is actually looking very solid. That's Crossfade, Case, Dally, and I'm sorry.
Stress.
It is Stress. Thank you. But they're looking very motivated and dedicated. I'm excited to see what those guys can put together.
Yeah, actually, Dolly, me and Brad teamed with Dolly for one of the qualifying cups at the end of last season.
LCQ.
Yeah, total throw together last minute team, and we honestly did really, really well.
It was weird how well we worked together.
I have nothing but great things about Dalai Lama. He's a great player and a great guy. I mean, we all got
He's
along
one of those
really
kids where he'll just run around and just survive everything he sees.
Yeah, online, I never knew the guy, but they definitely impressed me when we played him on LAN and everything, and I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing. Hughes and Bohm, I think they're teaming with Nemesis and Destroyed, another up and coming player. It's just he's been playing lights out for whoever he's been playing on, and I mean Shade Squad, they're sitting third place in the AM standings right now, right under Elite Four and Dominant 3's up right now, so it's cool to see for sure.
Yep, I agree. What other teams you got your eye on, Brad?
I think everyone kind of has their eye on Elite Four, and of course 3's up now. But like Drew and I were talking about just a second ago, was the two Mexican teams that have consistently placed top 8 these past 2 weeks. It's pretty cool. So we got Synergy Gaming in 6th and Shock the World in 7th. I remember Shock the World was constantly also in the legendary bracket last season.
Yeah,
we had a bit of a different lineup, but they were always really solid.
Yeah, we had to play Shock the World, I think, a couple times last season in Challenger. I think because we were 5th seed a lot of the time, and it worked out that way. But yeah, they're definitely good. Tapping Buttons, he's a player to keep an eye on. He's very talented. Every time I match him in scrims, matchmaking, whatever, he's trying hard as can be, just destroying everybody. But
yeah, it's really cool to get these two Mexican teams in there, and honestly, it seems like two teams that people, no one really hears about them or talks,
No, not at all.
They just all of a sudden they come into these open brackets and they just destroy people. It's really cool, honestly. I think it's great.
It is cool. No, even though everybody wants to see NA dominate, or not NA, US dominate, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's cool to see these underdog teams step up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so definitely some international teams. And I mean, I think it was really cool in last European or in Worlds, two of the European teams ended up outplacing American teams, I believe, if I'm correct. And just that alone is awesome. Yeah. So it's definitely cool to see some of this international diversity and hopefully get some servers going a little bit better places and locations to get some scrims and practice going on between these international teams. But
yeah, for sure, it's definitely going to be an interesting run. I'm excited to see how both Pro League and Am League, how they turn out, and it's going to be a long run, but I'm excited.
Yeah,
I think going back to your Worlds comment, I think it'd be cool if one of the better European teams came over to the United States and grinded the week before Worlds, so that they could one, get acclimated to US, and two, scrim all these pro teams before they get over here.
Yeah,
I definitely hear you. All right, so that kind of rounds it out for our top amateurs. We'll talk more about that next week, as well as the open brackets continue to come out. So we'll kind of wrap up the show. Any last words, Brad?
No, I'm really looking forward to the Optic MV game tomorrow. That's about it, though.
Should be a good one. Taylor, Andrew, any last words?
Appreciate you having us on, dude.
Yeah, for real.
It's a pleasure.
I'm stoked for this show to
It's about to take off once you put my face on it.
Right.
It's holding you to it.
It's bringing in new voices and new faces and new aspects into the show, and everyone's got a different perspective on the community, so it really helps to get everyone's perspective and whatnot.
And a different role,
Yeah. No, I definitely hear you. So we'll continue to get more special guests on the show as the week rolls out. We'll go ahead and sign off now. For Andrew, Taylor, and Brad, I'm Nick. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.